Good day to all. Welcome to Extreme Recap. A billionaire businessman is introduced at the beginning of the film. Jason, who has outperformed everybody's assumptions by assuming command over the resources of his granddad worth $2 billion. In the meantime, Alexia, his girlfriend and a nurse, generously volunteers at Acquitted, a charity in Haiti that helps children battling cancer. While Alexia is at her working environment, Jason shocks her by sending her a wonderful dress as a gift and welcoming her out for a heartfelt supper. Alexia likewise consents to it. Furthermore, next, we see them together at an extravagant cafe. Sadly, right when Jason is going to propose to Alexia, his arrangements are intruded on by a court request which expects him to go to the trials. Jason finds out right away that his uncle has sued him, claiming that he broke the terms of Red's fund, an asset he manages because he has no other option. Jason passes on the spot and rushes to the court. Jason's uncle makes the proposal to remove him from his position during the court proceedings, citing his distance from the family and extravagant lifestyle. Jason puts in a lot of effort to protect his rights. However, this unfortunate circumstance causes rifts among their former close relatives. Because of this, they turn against one another in order to make money. Alexia believes that Jason is prioritizing the trust fund over their relationship because she observes him getting agitated about it and arguing with his family members. After that, she makes the difficult choice to leave for Haiti without properly saying goodbye. She figures out how to move toward Jason momentarily to say farewell to him. However, he is unable to even give her the attention she deserves because he is so preoccupied with the lawsuit. Prior to her flight, Alexia likewise leaves Jason a genuine letter. Yet, he doesn't get sufficient opportunity to quickly understand it. Notwithstanding, later, while figuring out papers, Jason at last recollects the letter and opens it, finding Alexia's excursion to Haiti. Jason then seeks advice from Hamilton, his late grandfather's trusted friend, because he feels alone and lost, acknowledging that Alexia's decision to travel to Haiti was not made haphazardly. Be that as it may, a reaction to the conditions, Hamilton hands Jason his granddad's journal, trusting it will give bits of knowledge and answers for his current and future difficulties. In the following scene, as Jason drenches himself in his granddad's journal, he acquires important insight from his background. He becomes more acquainted with that Red, his granddad, really came from a modest foundation and exited school at 15 years old to function as an ice conveyance kid. The scene then moves back in time when Red countenances joke from more affluent families. During his conveyances one day while at work, Red coincidentally finds a paper article telling the example of overcoming adversity of an extremely rich person propelled by the similitudes between their experiences growing up. Peruse quietly makes plans to turn into an extremely rich person. Red has a more youthful sibling and a sister and his loved ones. Soups and Red TV shows are common at meals. The newspaper to his father, in which he expressed his determination to become wealthy and improve their mother's medical care. In any case, his dad excuses his desires, demanding that Red is bound to stay poor. Resolute, Red leaves a note for his mom and sets out on an excursion, declining to acknowledge neediness as his foreordained destiny. Red boards a train the following morning and meets a man who saves him from being caught by the rail guards. The man stresses the significance of valuing even the littlest endowments, like great well-being. Afterward, when the train arrives at Texas, the man with whom Red has been speaking leaps off before it arrives at its last objective. Red also decides to get off the train and follows him as he walks behind a group of men in a completely unfamiliar location. He follows the little gathering and arrives where a farmer is searching for transitory laborers. Among the group, Red, in spite of being the most youthful, stands apart because of his energy and excitement, grabbing the eye of the farmer who at last chooses him for the gig. Red, alongside 5 others, get on the farmer's truck and drive towards their work environment. Before long, Red starts working at the farm. In spite of having no related knowledge in the undertakings doled out, it is here he meets Gus, a local who is slightly older and once owned his own ranch before losing it during the Great Depression. Red suggests Gus's determination to one day reclaim ownership of a ranch. Go to California, where more open positions are accessible around evening time. Gus and the other workers get together to play cards, but Red is obsessing over ways to accumulate wealth more quickly. He needs to try not to be subject to such work-escalated positions as he becomes older. Red leaves the game inquisitive about achieving success and approaches the rancher for advice. The farmer makes sense of that achievement requires various elements and the capacity to lead and make things prosperous for oneself. Red suggests a deal to the rancher because he realizes that he must consider more than just daily wages. He inquires as to whether following through with a job a day sooner will set aside the farmer cash, to which the farmer affirms that it will for sure decrease costs. Propelled by this information, Red reaches an accord with the farmer. The rancher will give him a portion of the money saved if he completes the work one day ahead of schedule. The rancher agrees with him, which is fortunate for him. The day after that, at the point when different laborers get up in the first part of the day, they accept that Red has covertly taken off. Notwithstanding, as they show up at the field, they are shocked to observe that Red has been working determinedly since 3 a.m. Here, they understand that Red's proficiency has significantly improved, alongside the general efficiency. Ad then isolates everybody to gatherings and proposes they accept various obligations and work as though they're at a mechanical production system. With his initiative, they figured out how to finish their work one day sooner. The rancher keeps his word and pays Red more money and praises his exceptional abilities. Later, Red travels to the town to send some money home to buy his mother medicines. He immediately engages in conversation with a person who appears to be wealthy as they examine his costly belt. The man asks Reds why he wants to go to California and says that there are a lot of oil-related opportunities in Texas, but he doesn't say why. A short time later, while passing a shop in the city, Red is enamored by a lovely young lady named Hannah. Unfit to take his eyes off her, he remains there in wonderment. Hannah heartily welcomes Red and welcomes him to a young dance party being held at school exercise center. Red accepts the invitation right away because she is so beautiful. Red gets dressed up at night and happily goes to the event where he boldly tells Hannah how he feels. He even goes with her home, getting through the prodding of Hannah's brother by marriage. During their discussion, Red emphasizes his assurance to turn into an extremely rich person sometime in the future. Perceiving Red's aspiration, Hannah chooses to take him to meet the school head, trusting he can take a placement test and sign up for review. In any case, Red accepts he can teach himself and notice effective people who accomplish significance absent a lot of proper training. The principal acknowledges Red's ambition after hearing his beliefs and stresses the significance of education. To substantiate himself, Red rapidly computes the solution to an intricate increase issue referenced by the rule. He likewise examines the pathology of skin illness on the director's hands, showing that somebody as instructed as the chief procures just an unobtrusive yearly pay. Red expresses discontent over earning so little. Hannah, on the other hand, is dissatisfied with Red's performance because she realizes that his outward confidence hides his weaknesses and fears. The following day, Red goes to class, making Hannah happy that he took her advice into consideration. Their bond fortifies as they return to school, and partake in their time. One day, while on a date at a cafe, they hear about the start of the war and the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. He gets the impression that he needs to protect his country. Red then decides to lie about his age in order to join the army. Next, he waits until he is about to leave before speaking to Hannah. Hannah unequivocally contradicts his choice, however Red demands enlisting in the military to show off his abilities in battle for what he merits. They argue with fervor, and Hannah was angry, proclaims that she won't sit tight for him. On the front line, an official relegates a terrified enroll to convey a cover to the bleeding edges. Decisively, Red steps in the right direction, takes the cover and hurries to the front. He finds cover in a foxhole and meets Gus, who was likewise at the farm. Red moves forward after a brief discussion. However, barely dodges a cannonball. Gus bravely rushes to save himself after seeing the danger and asking his teammates to cover him. As time goes on, the setting changes to the year 1955, when Red has turned into an oil driller. Sadly, karma isn't his ally, and he neglects to track down raw petroleum at this point. Red and Hannah have previously hitched and are the guardians of 4 kids. However, their family faces financial difficulties as a result of their inability to locate crude oil. Feeling deterred, Red recalls his father's remarks regarding their difficult circumstances. Since there is nothing they can do, Hannah advises him not to dwell on it. Red thinks about putting resources into their family, yet understands he's disregarded his youngsters and hasn't furnished them with the consideration they merit. He then chooses to head outside and play baseball with his child. During the play, his son inquires about why he does not seek professional assistance in locating the source of crude oil. Persuaded by his child's words, Red welcomes a geologist to help him, despite reservations regarding the geologist's reliability. They shockingly track down oil. Red gets back, shrouded in oil, thrilled, and embraces Hannah and their kids energetically. Red faces lawsuits over oil field property rights, and the original rancher all increase with the amount of oil extracted. After seeing the oil sues Red, blaming him for misdirecting his mining freedoms. Red responds by meeting Hamilton, his lifelong friend, and finding a lawyer through leaflets in a telephone booth. Before the start of the trial, Hamilton helps Reed settle the lawsuit at the courthouse. They found that the agreement for the land and mineral privileges was endorsed by the two players 2 years and 2 months prior. As indicated by Texas regulation, disagreements regarding mineral privileges are restricted to a 2-year time span. The opposing attorney, who specializes in divorces but is unfamiliar with mining rights regulations, leaves in a desperate manner. From that point forward, Hamilton turns into a significant partner in Red's developing unrefined petroleum business, and their kinship develops further throughout the long term. After 13 years, Red's business prospers. Yet, he can't overlook the way that individuals have restricted energy. Sadly, while concentrating on his career, he has neglected his family. His youngsters' just ability to request cash and have no profound association with their dad before Hannah can offer her viewpoints. Red quickly gathers his sacks for an excursion for work with Hamilton to examine purchasing a treatment facility. In the accompanying scene, Red's arrogant behavior during contract negotiations causes issues, but he has inside information about a recent costly explosion at the other party's refinery. He chooses to remain in a close-by lodging, expecting a difference in their merchant's heart. Days go by with practically no news. Then comes Christmas Eve. Hamilton encourages Red to quit any pretense of stalling and enjoy Christmas with Hannah and the. Nonetheless, Red obstinately won't fly back and communicates assurance to get the treatment facility and waits. Paying attention to this, Hamilton is forced to fly home alone. Fortunately, Red's persistence pays off when the other party promptly sends the signed contract. In the wake of obtaining the treatment facility, his own organization turns into a billion-dollar venture. After many years, Red finally achieves his dream, but he still feels alone. There is nobody to share and partake in his prosperity. All at once, Hannah calls with upsetting news. Hamilton sustained severe internal injuries in a car accident, including kidney ruptures. Seeing Hamilton's condition in the medical clinic, Red has an unexpected acknowledgement. While pursuing cash, he has neglected numerous things of more, not entirely set in stone. To ensure Hamilton's health, he decides to donate one of his kidneys. Realizing that money is nothing more than a fantasy. While family is his actual riches, Red takes steps to involve corporate benefits for a beneficent undertaking. He and Hannah imparted this choice to their 4 kids, giving every one of them $10,000 and empowering them to utilize the cash to help other people. Disheartened by the youngsters' reaction, Red's second child approaches him later and returns the cash he needs to contribute it to the magnanimous venture. Red has stated that it is a test for his children. Eventually, the subsequent child, Jason, becomes a responsible father after receiving the wealth from his family. In the last scene, Jason understands that the material wealth left by the family are definitely less huge than the family's heritage. He comprehends that the best abundance in life are the friends and family around him. In believing the asset matters to Hamilton, he goes to Haiti to admit his sentiments to Alexia. Jason proposes to Alexia and eventually weds her at the end of the movie. Turn on notifications, please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.